Welcome to Cosi Talks Live. Okay, a little bit of a late start this evening. Whew, I just sent out my text message for those of you who are signed on to my text service, and I just said going live now. So I do apologize for that. For those of you who are new to the show and watching the replay, you can actually sign up for my texting service, and you can do that by texting Cosi Talks, just how I have it written in all cap letters, one word, to that number right there. And you will receive, even if it's a few minutes late, you'll receive a text message that'll tell you that I'm going live. And it'll also include the links as to where you can find me live because I do broadcast to my Facebook and to my YouTube channels. So, hello. Oh, hello, Harsh. I just got the text message myself. Thank you for being here this evening, guys. I know I'm a little few minutes late this evening. I'm going to give you a couple minutes just to jump on board. We got some interesting things to talk about this evening. I had some interesting questions that came in, some new stuff going on this week for me. So I'll be sharing that with you guys as well. Hey there, Eric. He's got his brisk tea. Jody. Oh, you are looking so good, Jody, in that picture that you posted. So I hope you're on the mend there. We've got Kimberly also watching me from the YouTube channel. So guys, just a reminder for if you have a hard time finding me on Facebook, you can find me on YouTube, also under Cosi Talks. Pretty easy to find me there. Hey there, Pastor David. How you doing? All right. Mm. My husband made me my favorite decaf this evening. Bless his heart. He knew I needed it this evening. All right. So yes, there's my tech girl, Kristen. I love it when she's on board because she keeps me on the straight and narrow here, make sure I behave on the show. We got Tom on board. We've got Rich from Texas with his French roast. That sounds good, Rich. We got Denise, she's my Carolina gal. And we got Phil going. Oh, Phil from Canada. We got our Canadian on board. You got your agua. All right. Slowly but surely, Jody. Well, I'm just glad you're on the other side of that recovery right now. We've got Grant. I haven't seen you in a little while. Grant and Bob from Salt Lake City. We've got Liz on board coming in from the other side of the country. We got Susan from Canada. Guys, we got a nice little crew coming on board. So for those of you, just in case you missed it, if you did not receive my text message, it means you need to sign up, and you can do so by texting Cosi Talks to that phone number. So, guys, I'm really pushing that because I have a lot of new folks who are wanting to watch the show and they have a hard time finding me. They don't know where to find me, what time to find me. So, guys, if you don't mind, just kind of helping push out that number into your support groups for people that you think would benefit from watching this show, that'd be greatly appreciated. Hey there, Mike. We got, Kimberly's in Ogden, Utah. All right, guys, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. For those of you watching my show for the first time, welcome. My name is Cosi Belloso. I'm a physical therapist, amputee specialist here in Tampa, Florida. I've been a PT now for over 20 years. Just love what I do. Hola, Gustavo. Saludos, colega, desde Argentina. Hoy, ¿de qué vas a hablar? Gustavo, voy a estar hablando de muchas cosas, de yoga, y vamos a estar hablando de los shrinkers. So, guys, I do have some of my Spanish-speaking folks. As you can see, we got Gustavo here from Argentina. He's a physical therapist there. I recently met an amazing prosthetist and who's also a physical therapist from Brazil. Posted pictures about that, and that was amazing. So we're starting to definitely get a little bit of more of an international audience on the show. So occasionally you might hear me answering some questions in Spanish that I will translate into English. So let's just start. Hola, Sean. So, guys, feel free, for those of you who are newcomers, this show is to answer your questions. Okay, so whether you're a prosthetist, a physical therapist, an amputee caregiver, a family member, this show is to answer your questions. So don't be shy. Put the questions in the comment section, and I will definitely try to find an answer for you. All right, so this question was sent in by Emily, and Emily asks, have you ever heard of doubling up on shrinkers? My prosthetist said I could wear a shrinker over a shrinker, but I've been nervous to do so. So, I've seen this done on occasion where, they double up on shrinkers, and, for some people it works. My only concern when you're doubling up on a shrinker sometimes is because you have those two rough layers on top of each other. I find, and again, I'd love to hear you guys chime in on this one, that it kind of tends to slip off the person. It doesn't really stay on very well. So if the shrinker is getting too big or if it's not providing enough compression, it's time to kind of measure for a new shrinker, right? See if you can find something that's a little tighter. I know that back in the day, the prosthetists used to put a seam on there. And guys, I'm going to one of my favorite prosthetist clinics tomorrow, and I'm going to be raiding their storage closet because I need to have like some of this stuff so I can show you what I'm talking about. But basically, they just take in the extra material and put a seam down it. And that just takes up the space really nicely. So yeah, I mean, I've seen people double up on shrinkers, and if your prosthetist is recommending this, then make sure that they are helping you examine your skin, right? Because that's the biggest indicator right there. Is we want to protect that skin. So if you are doubling up on the shrinker on recommendation from your prosthetist, make sure that you're checking your skin and that your prosthetist is also doing the same. So Sean says, I only use my shrinkers at night. Guys, I love shrinkers. Way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and I started practicing as a physical therapist, we didn't really have shrinkers. They were starting to come out. We still had to do the old fashioned ace wrap, figure eight wrapping technique that I remember my instructor drilling me and drilling me and drilling me on doing. And it's still a technique that's used today. It's still actually very effective in some cases. There's some folks who cannot tolerate wearing a shrinker. So using either a 2B wrap or using a figure eight um, ace wrap can be really, really effective. But shrinker really, really convenient. So the reason why you would wear a shrinker is to help manage the swelling, right? So immediately after surgery, your residual limb is blown up and huge because of all the swelling from the surgery and the trauma from the surgery. So this shrinker helps in providing gentle compression, right, to push that fluid out of the residual limb. The nice side effect to that is when you push the fluid outside of the limb, it helps with pain. Okay, it gives you pain relief. And I really talk to my patients a lot about this because obviously the foremost thing on your mind when you're fresh post op is pain. So anything we can do to help manage the swelling is also going to help manage the pain. So we can do that with compression and we do that with movement. That's where the physical therapist comes into play, right? Now, after the healing has occurred, after about the first year, okay, after about the first year, you can kind of taper on the shrinker, and everybody's a little bit different. But for that first year, I usually tell my patients if you're not actively wearing your prosthesis, you need to be wearing your shrinker. Okay, because you'll get that rebound swelling. So even if you're 6 months out, right, and some of you have probably experienced this and you've been wearing your prosthesis for most of the day, when you take that prosthesis off, your limb is going to want to have like a little bit of a rebound swelling effect. So I tell folks, okay, 23 out of 24 hours a day, you either need to be wearing your shrinker or your prosthesis, right? So wear your prosthesis, take everything off, do your bathing. That's the 1 hour of the day. Do your bathing and your skin hygiene, and then put the shrinker back on for the rest of the day and for the evening hours when you're asleep. Okay. I do have to say, do not wear your shrinker with your prosthesis. Inevitably, there's always somebody who's just like, oh, this looks like a sock, or that I can use it. No, no, no. Or as a liner. And it's like, no, no, no. The shrinker is not meant to be worn with your prosthesis. So I got to put that little asterisk right there. Okay. Now, after that first year, right, I take a look at the person and I say, okay, are you still experiencing a lot of swelling? And some people do up to the first 2 years. Some people can still be experiencing some swelling, residual swelling, in which case we keep that protocol going, right? Some people during the daytime, they're fairly stable, and because also they're wearing their leg for the full day, right? So they may only need to wear their shrinker at night, right? To prevent the leg from getting puffy again. Usually, when a patient tells me, "Oh, I wear my leg during the day and I sleep at night, but then in the morning I have a really hard time getting back into my socket again because it's a little swollen." So that's usually when I make the recommendation of, okay, start wearing your shrinker at night because it makes a world of difference when you try to put that leg on first thing in the morning again. Okay. The other side of that is some folks have a lot of residual soft tissue at the end of their limb, and they just describe it as kind of like a fish flopping around, and it's a little uncomfortable when they're trying to sleep at night. So just having that shrinker on helps compress that extra soft tissue. It makes it just a little bit more comfortable. So again, it's a comfort thing after a while. All right. So Sean says, I change volume daily, being very active. Yeah. Yeah. And guys, a lot of people understand that if you have medical conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, autoimmune disease, you're going to you're going to change in volume on a regular basis. But even folks who don't necessarily have any of these comorbidities, right, just from being active, what you sweat every day is going to change the volume. And also, not just what you sweat, but just from being active in the prosthesis, right, you're pushing that fluid out of your limb. That's one of the reasons I'm I'm really digging the Click Medical adjustable socket systems, the RevoFit. Love, 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 love these. They are actually coming on my show April 5th, guys. I put out an announcement about that. So put that in your calendar, set the phone alarm for April 5th. We're going to be talking about all of the products that Click Medical offers to allow for adjustable socket technology. Really, really, really good. All right, let's see some of these comments that just came in. Emily says, not sure if you just answered this. Have you ever heard of doubling up on shrinkers? Emily, I literally just answered your question. That's what I started the show with, darling. So if you want to go back and watch the replay, you can hear my whole explanation on that one. So yes, Emily, go ahead and listen back to that one. Yep, I gave you a lot of good information there. Johnny V says, good evening, everyone. Johnny V from Poughkeepsie, New York, in the Cosi Talks house. Just had a great day of downhill skiing with adaptive sports of Mount Snow in Vermont. Holy cow. Snow conditions and weather are perfect. Winter sports season not over yet. Headed to Aspen, Colorado this Saturday to attend the National Disabled Veterans Winter Sports Clinic at Snowmass Mountain for a week, and I'm so stoked. And yesterday, I celebrated my 21-year Ampuversary Alive Day, and it feels so great to be here with you. Johnny, best of congratulations to you. That is truly a wonderful way to celebrate life. I am so happy that you are just jumping into the world of winter sports right there. So you got to say hi to my buddy Greg. I haven't talked to Greg Menino in a long time. So you need to go say hi to him for me, Johnny. And thank you for being on the show and sharing that with us. All right, guys. Gustavo, amo ese socket, se puede trabajar mucho mejor en el proceso. Sí, esta cuenca me encanta, Gustavo, porque se puede ajustar de varias maneras aquí con este panel y con estos dials. Así que el 5 de abril, Gustavo, esta compañía va a estar en el show mío y vamos a estar hablando todo de los productos de ellos. Así que estate aquí el 5 de abril. So guys, Gustavo, my physical therapist colleague there from Argentina, is saying how much he loves the look of this socket, right? Because he says it makes it look like it would be a lot easier to work with patients. And guys, it does. It really does. So, when I'm first working with my patients, a lot of times we're doing a lot of education on how the socket should be sitting, right, with the use of socks. Recently with this technology of the adjustable socket, it makes it a lot easier because you can make micro adjustments. And now with they have a new click reel. This one's a BOA dial, and now they have a new click reel coming out that we're going to be talking about on April 5th. And it's even more fine-tuned on how you can adjust it, which I love. So I think sometimes using socks can be just a bit rudimentary. So it's nice to have a little bit more of a fine touch there. Emily says, I just had my first day of outpatient OT and PT today. Wonderful. I love it. And I love hearing when people have PT and OT services. Guys, that's one of the big reasons why I started this show, is because when I opened up my business 5 years ago, my clinic, and I started going to the Facebook support groups, and I would just read, just the problems that people were having. And either folks didn't know that a physical therapist could help, or unfortunately, they just hadn't been able to find someone who had amputee experience. So it always makes me happy when I hear that someone is going to outpatient PT. It's necessary, guys. It's necessary. I had a really interesting conversation with someone who was a clinician, who was arguing with me not arguing, that's a strong word, debating with me, right? Debating with me that patients really didn't need to have specialized physical therapy after amputation, right? And those of you who've been with me for a long time, I just stared at this person like they were dumb, right? I just kind of looked at them like this, right? Crickets chirping in the background. But out of respect, I didn't say that to them. And all I said to the person was, well, if someone tears their ACL, right, let's just say an athlete tears their ACL and they have it surgically repaired, do they need physical therapy? Oh, yeah. The physical therapist definitely works with someone who had an ACL tear. Yeah. Okay. If someone had a rotator cuff tear, right? And they went and they had that surgically repaired. Do they need physical therapy? Oh yeah, absolutely. If they have a rotator cuff repair, they need to have physical therapy, absolutely, to get them strong again. And then I said to the person, so if a person has a limb removed from their body, you're telling me they don't need physical therapy. Guys, the look on this person's face was priceless. So I think I got a new believer there in the benefits of having physical therapy after amputation. That was my little like PT drop mic moment. Hey there, Jill from Berkeley, drinking her ice water. I need a sip of my coffee right now too. Cheers, guys. Okay, so let's talk. Oh, this is a good one. This is one that comes up a lot. Every time it comes up, I always like to talk about it. Dennis asks, I am an above the knee amputee since 2020. Does anyone else have lower back pain after wearing their leg? It also tires me out. Okay, Cosi poll. How many of you experience low back pain after walking around with your prosthesis and you're exhausted? Comment section. I'm going to wait for a minute. I'm going to let y'all put that into the comment section. I need my Jeopardy theme song. I really need to get a recording of that. Yep, Michael's raising his hand. Who else? Don't be shy, guys. I know there's more of you out there. Rose milk. I've never heard of that, Harsh. So Kimberly says me. Who else? Come on. Sean says me, but I'm a left BK. No, this is not just for AKs, guys. I'm talking about anybody who's missing any part of their limb. Richard says exercise helps. Thank you very much for that, Richard. Denise says yes. Okay. So, guys, depending on the statistics that you read, you can hear as much as 80% of amputees will experience low back pain before the 5-year mark after their amputation. Jean says, yep. She's like, definitely. Right. Patricia says, yes, but getting better since doing, since doing the Cosi exercises. Thank you for that, Patricia. Jill says, don't have a leg yet. Wouldn't that be the muscle in the groin that needs stretching? That's one of them, but one of many. So Sean says, yes, exercises help. So guys, low back pain, it's a common thing among the human population, but unfortunately, even more so in the amputee population. Again, you're having an asymmetry there, right? And no matter how amazing your prosthetist is, no matter how amazing your prosthetic device will be, it's not going to ever be able to recreate divine design, right? There's going to be an asymmetry there. With the physical therapy, you can really, really acclimate nicely to that. And you can actually prevent some of this low back pain from happening with time and with the exercise. And all of you are saying the right things. Yes, exercise helps. And why is this, right? So if you think about it, what is supporting us when we're walking, right? Our core, our glute muscles, right? And especially in an amputee, when you're missing at least your lower leg muscles, and in an above the knee amputee, you're missing lower leg muscles, a knee, and a part of your thigh muscles, right? All of the other muscular structures have to take up the slack, right? So from a muscular standpoint, the core, and I'm not just talking about, the six pack here, I'm talking about those deep, deep abdominal muscles, the back extensor muscles, the diaphragm, and then the pelvic floor. That's all part of your core, right? The glute muscles, the butt muscles, right? It's all about the butt, right? All of that has to be even stronger to give you that support. Okay. And then from an alignment standpoint, and oh my gosh, we're doing a show on alignment, guys. That's like a sidekick right there. Ronnie Dixon is coming on the show April 19th. I've never done a show on alignment. This will be my first show on alignment. So I'm so excited about that. Okay. So, anyways, alignment, really, really, really important, right? Because if you're not aligned properly, right, your body cannot be in the right position to use those nice, new, strong muscles efficiently. Okay. And using proper gait pattern, try to minimize those gait deviations as much as possible. And guys, everyone's going to have a gait deviation. I've got a gait deviation. Everybody's got some sort of gait deviation. It's whether or not that gait deviation is going to be contributing to low back pain. Okay. So in some amputees that I work with, I might see that they have something of a gait deviation, but I know that that's not going to necessarily cause them a problem. Okay. But I am a stickler for the ones that I know are going to lead to back pain. So a lot of the gait deviations that are just caused by bad habits because it's easier to walk and depend more on the sound leg, right? So all of these things play into the back pain issue. And guys, I did a show. Kristen, if you're still there, Can you find the live show that I did, the live event series show that I did on back pain? I did a full show on back pain, guys. And hopefully, if Kristen is still watching, she'll be able to post that for me from my YouTube channel. So, anyways, where was I going with that? I was going somewhere with that, going somewhere with that. Okay. When it comes to the fatigue, right? So that a lot of fatigue that you experience at the end of the day, it's a two-part thing. It's muscular fatigue, because if those muscles aren't strong, they get tired, and that contributes to the overall fatigue that you're feeling. And the other part of that is cardiovascular endurance. Cardiovascular endurance, guys, right? We've got three types of muscle in our body: skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. Heart, your heart's a muscle. So if that muscle's not strong, right, it's not going to be pumping to meet your needs, and it's going to make you tired. Okay. We talk a lot on the show about how much more energy an amputee has to use to walk with a prosthesis, right? So it's like the equivalent of someone like me with two legs going and running 3 miles. That's the kind of stress that you're putting on your body, right? Now, it sounds kind of bleak and hopeless, but it's not. It's something that you can work towards, and it's something that you can get stronger with and improve on, right? All right, let's see. We got a lot of comments coming in. Hang on. Hey there, Alex. Michael says, in the beginning, my back was hurting so bad. The stronger I got in my legs, the better it got. Yeah, you need all those muscles strong. And it really is a use it or lose it scenario, guys. And guys, even the two-legged folks, we're in the same boat, in the sense that if we do not continue to do muscle strengthening throughout the rest of our lives, that's where we're going to get a lot of this chronic back pain, a lot of these chronic pain issues, right? For an amputee, unfortunately, it's going to happen a little bit more, a little sooner, right? And you have to work a lot harder to maintain that muscle. Tom says, I do, but it's probably from all the heavy lifting I do around my farm. And yes, exercising does help. And again, guys, I've worked with folks who do a lot of heavy lifting in their careers. That's part of their job description. And that does not mean that they need to have back pain, right? So Tom, I'm going to put you on the spot with that one. Right? There's a lot of exercises. There's a lot of functional work training exercises that we can do as physical therapists with people who do a lot of heavy lifting, right? A lot of those exercises can be done to teach people how they can do the lifting and make them strong so they don't have back pain at the end of their day. Sean, you said tried that, but I did break my back, neck, and tailbone. What did you try, Sean? Gait, appreciate. Oh, thank you, Kristen. Okay, so Sean says, I use the elliptical machine and crunches with a 20-pound medicine ball. That's a great start, Sean. But what the crunches will do is they just activate the rectus abdominis. That's the six-pack muscle. So it's going to make your six-pack look really nice and buff, but it's not targeting those really deep muscles. And the deepest one is the transverse abdominis, and it's called your corset muscle, because that's what it looks like if you look in an anatomy book, right? It goes across the body. Actually, Kristen, if you could post the one that I think it's called All About the Core. If that's the one on the gait deviations, that's another good one. So guys, my tech gal, Kristen, she just posted one of the videos that I did on gait deviations. And that's also a really good video, if I do say so myself, talking about what are gait deviations, what are the common ones that you'll see, and how you can go about fixing them and the causes, right? Susan says, I find it difficult to know what 50-50 feels like. And Susan, thank you for saying that. So the very first exercise, guys, that I give all of my patients, and I don't care if they are a newbie or if they are a runner, right? Even my runners, I have them go back and do the beginner exercises, weight shifting, right? And a lot of times I have to place my patient into that 50-50 position, meaning that they're putting equal weight on both legs. And it feels weird. It feels weird to my patient. And they think that I'm pushing them all the way onto their prosthetic side. And they're like, wait a second. I'm like, no, you're even. Your brain just has to learn that new feeling, that new sensation. And a lot of times I'll put a mirror in front of them so that they can see, they get that visual feedback of, oh, wow, yes, I really am standing straight. This is what it feels like to stand straight and to stand equally on both of my feet. Okay. And that's where we start, guys. I don't just start patients and have them going zipping up and down those parallel bars. No, no, no. We take it back to the foundational part. Okay. We break it down into these little pieces to make sure that they build that foundation. Thank you, Kristen. So Kristen just posted right there the YouTube video that talks about the core. Okay. And I break down the core into all the different muscle components. And I have exercises, guys. I believe it was Reggie Showers on that show. He love Reggie. So he came on the show and he demonstrated the exercises that I give to pretty much all of my patients if I'm working on their core. So you can go watch that video later, right click and save it, right? And you can learn all about the core and some of the exercises that go with it. Steven says, better late than never. Jayville in the hizzy. Hey there, Steven. What's going on? Um, oh, yeah. Talking about reliving the back pain. Yeah. Emily says it was hard today to tell whether I was doing some of the exercises correctly because I can't completely feel the muscles I'm supposed to be activating. Yes, Emily. So, um, muscle activation is definitely something that when I have a new patient and if they have any kind of neurological compromise, meaning that the muscle has some sort of possible nerve damage or that's extremely, extremely weak, then I'm really, really careful about monitoring to make sure that they are activating the correct muscle that is intended. Okay. A lot of times when our muscles are so weak or they have again nerve compromise, right, the other muscles try to pick up the slack, right, and they start activating and contracting around it. And you have, as a therapist, you have to identify that and isolate that muscle group. Okay. Sometimes it involves the use of electrical stimulation, right? Using those little electrical stimulation pads to start stimulating that muscle to properly contract. And once you can start isolating that muscle and contracting that muscle, and as it gets stronger, then you can go ahead and let the muscles around it start participating as well. But yeah, that's definitely something your physical therapist will be keeping an eye on, Emily. And don't be shy. You need to tell your physical therapist, I don't know if I'm activating the right thing. And I hear that all the time from my patients. And sometimes I'll tell them, okay, don't worry. I'm keeping an eye on it. You're activating. So just keep doing it. Sometimes I'll take the patient's hand and I'll put it on the muscle that they're having trouble with. Okay. So that they can feel that contraction. And so that when they go home and do the exercises, they know what it's supposed to feel like. Okay. In other cases, I might actually videotape the patient on their phone, on their own phone, and videotape them doing the exercises so they can copy that exact position when they go home and activate it again properly. Because, yeah, if you're doing the exercise incorrectly, you're not doing any good. Okay. And Emily, again, don't be shy about telling your therapist that you're not really feel like you're getting it. Guys, I have my own personal PTs. I have two PTs that I go see depending on what I've got going on. And man, there are times that even as a physical therapist, I've told my own physical therapist, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I'm doing this correctly. You're going to have to walk me through it and make sure that I'm activating the right muscle group. Okay. Normal happens all the time. It's kind of one of the reasons why I developed also the strong body program because it's a way for folks to watch those videos when they go home. All right. We good there? Okay. Next. Ooh, here was a cool one. I had a yoga instructor and I didn't write her name down. I wish I would have written her name down. Who asks, she's never worked with amputees, but I guess she's either opening up her studio to want to bring in some amputee clients, or some have expressed interest in participating in her yoga program. And she was asking, what considerations do I need to know as a yoga instructor when I'm working with an amputee? And for me, guys, I love it when I hear something like that. I love the fact that there's something out there in the community, folks out there that want to work with amputees and helping them with fitness and providing them just with different options for fitness, right? Last week, we talked a lot about gyms and personal training and fitness programs. So for yoga, and actually, Kristen, if you're still there, Kristen, I did a wonderful show with a gentleman by the name of Zach Gowan. So Zach is an amazing human being. He is a childhood cancer survivor. He lost his limb above the knee from the cancer. and he went on to become the first WWE amputee wrestler. No joke. This guy was up against Hulk Hogan, John Cena. Like, yeah, been there, did that. He got that t-shirt, right? And then he became an American Ninja Warrior. And then after that, he decided, well, I'm going to be a yoga master. And he is. He does, it's called DDP yoga. And I don't know what the DDP stands for. But he came on the show. And that, Kristen, love you, girl. It's on my YouTube channel, the live show that I did at Lululemon with Zach with all the yoga. So he came on the show and he put me through a yoga routine, which I don't do yoga. I should start doing yoga, but I don't do it. And it was kind of funny him trying to teach me how to do yoga. Yeah. Anywho, he's amazing, guys. He's amazing. So whenever I have somebody asking about yoga, I point them to that video, whether they are an instructor or somebody who wants to try it out themselves. And the simple answer is it's whatever's comfortable for you. Okay. So during that video, I don't think Zach was wearing his socket, and he's a very high above the knee. He's got a very short residual limb. So I think for him, now I can't remember. Good gravy. I know I've seen him do it both with his socket and without the socket. So, guys, when I'm doing exercises with my patients, a lot of times I might try an exercise with the socket just to see if we can do the exercise properly. If not, then we just take off the socket and the prosthesis and we accommodate and we modify the exercise. Same thing applies for yoga, guys. Same thing applies. I would say try to do some of the positions with your prosthesis on. And if you're finding that, nope, it's not working, it's just cumbersome and getting in the way, take the leg off and just do the positions with your sound leg. What I love about yoga, anytime I have a patient who practiced yoga or is currently practicing yoga, they have the best core. The best core. Okay. If those of you who bought, hang on, I'm going to show you right now. This sweet lady right here. Okay. She is, as you can see, she's one of my amazing models for the Strong Body Book program. This lady right here, she killed it. We shot over 150 video segments in 2 days, guys. She was nailing each exercise, and she has a long history of practicing yoga, and her core is so strong. She was able to do a lot of the exercises that my male models were not able to do. Okay. And they were just like, thumbs up. Okay. Eric says DDP is Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond. Oh, it really is Diamond Dallas Page yoga. Okay. I thought you guys were kidding. As you can see, guys, I'm not as familiar with yoga. I'm a runner girl and I'm a swimmer and a tennis player, but I do need to start practicing what I preach and start working with yoga. So, guys, those of you who are a little hesitant about yoga, those of you who are just like, am I going to do it? Can I do it? Is it beneficial or not? Go try it. Go try it. Okay. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And again, just like any other class, there were certain positions in the yoga that I'm like, yep, not ready for that one yet. Can't get myself into that position just quite yet. So I'm going to skip it and wait for another one that I can do. That's it. That's it, guys. Okay. So if that's something you're interested in doing, there's a million and one yoga studios around the place. Go try it. Go try it. And also what I like about yoga is, to me, I find it to be a little less intimidating than going to a gym. There's, in my opinion, less risk for injury and falls just because you're already on the ground, right? And you're not having to walk around equipment and, you're not walking around trying to, maneuver around a lot of people. So that's my little pitch there. Oh, good, Emily. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. The Zach Gowen show was in April of 2022. Oh. Hey there, Van Gregory. Glad to have you join us. Okay. Sorry, looking for my next question here. Okay. Okay, this gentleman said he had experienced a stroke that left his right side of his body paralyzed in 2000. Thank you, Kristen. So Kristen just posted the yoga video right there. So right click, go watch it, guys, after the show's over. So this gentleman had a right-sided stroke. So the right side of his body is paralyzed in 2000, and then in 2022 he became a left-sided amputee. Now he did not specify to me if he is a below the knee or an above the knee amputee. So I'm trying to kind of see if I can answer his question here. So he's saying I'm a level 1 and I'm trying to get to level 2. So again, I asked him to clarify and I'm still waiting on his answers, but I'm guessing he's saying he might be a K level 1 and he wants to know what exercises he can do with his forearm walker to be a K level 2. So there's a couple things here. First, I'm going to show you a picture of what a forearm walker looks like. Here we go. Okay. So let me zoom over here. So basically, the forearm walker is exactly that. You put your forearm into that black rest right there, and then your hand goes wrapped around the handle. Now, this particular walker is outfit with two places for forearm walking. Sorry, that's my cat, and she has a very loud meow, and I do apologize for that. But not everybody needs both forearm components. So usually for someone who has a stroke, right, they'll use the forearm for their weak arm. And it's basically to prevent the arm from just dropping. And also whatever little bit of shoulder motion they have, they can lean on that. And then they'll use their sound arm to hold the walker, right? That's typically how it works. Okay. The K levels. Okay. When it comes to the K levels, guys, first you need to know who is the one that gave you that K level. And this is something that I'm really starting to get a little more picky about when folks email me questions about their K level. Who assigned you the K level? Okay. If it's just an arbitrary number that your prosthetist wrote down, you might encounter some problems when it comes to insurance. If it's just an arbitrary number that your or your doctor wrote down, because usually it's the doctor who officially puts the K level into your records, you're going to run into problems. Okay. Your K level, and I kind of stand firmly on this one, your K level should be determined by your physical therapist. And it should be determined by using functional testing. Okay, so guys, here with me, I have my functional test packet. Okay. You can see there's a lot of pages in here, right? In this functional testing packet, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different functional tests that I can potentially administer to my patients to determine their K level. One of them is the AMP Pro, the AMP No Pro. That's become kind of like the gold standard to use when determining K levels. But the problem is sometimes folks will miss the upper K level by 1 point on the AMP Pro. So somebody who's trying to get to that K3 level might score 1 point less, right? So I use how many tests did I say I have? 6, 5, 6. I use all these other tests to test for balance, to test for endurance, to test for coordination, right? To help with those scores, to supplement the scores on the AMP Pro. And included in this, I have an explanation. This is what this is. I have an explanation as to why these functional outcome tests are considered to be valid, meaning as to why the insurance company, I put in here the studies that confirm the validity of these functional outcome measures. All right, so I know I'm getting kind of into the weeds here when it comes to the K levels, but guys, this is something that you're going to start seeing a lot of changes coming down the pike. There's one private insurance company right now nationwide that they will not approve a prosthetic device until the physical therapist has evaluated the patient. Yeah. And I'm smiling because I'm just like, yes, it's about darn time. We need to make sure that the physical therapist is involved from the beginning, And this is one of the many, many reasons for that. Okay. So I'm actually doing this tomorrow. I have a patient coming in that I'll be working with that she wants to see if she can test for a higher K level than what she's at. Okay. So this is going to give us a very honest and objective photograph of what this patient really can do. And on top of that, all of the supplementation, all this supporting documentation that will go with it that she can submit to her insurance company. Okay. So more so than the exercises, it starts with how do you assign the correct K level? And then the other question I get a lot of times is, well, if I'm assigned a K2, can I eventually become a K3? And the answer is yes, absolutely. That's the whole point. As a physical therapist, when I see the K level for my patients for the first time, if I'm assigning them their K level, for me, I'm just like, okay, that's our starting point. That's where I start setting my goals there, part of where I start setting my goals. And then within the functional tests, I'll see, okay, the person did not score well doing this particular task and this particular task. So that's where I need to start gearing some of my treatment because they need to work on this functional mobility right there. Okay. Johnny says, as a regularly practicing adaptive lower below the knee amputee yogi, I pop my leg on and off for standing positions and have it off for floor work. I do not do froggy squats to avoid the discomfort of my socket digging into me. Yoga is great to be practiced regularly, and it is your own practice. Everyone's practice is different. And don't forget that chair yoga is a great adaptive practice to consider as another option. I completely agree. Completely agree with that, Johnny. Thank you for putting that in there. Okay, so I know I got a little bit in the weeds there with that particular question about the K level, but it's again something that um, we're going to start seeing more of that, I think, especially with that one company, one insurance company, and of course I can't remember the name of that company right now, that passed that ruling. But I think other insurance companies are going to start, participating in that as well. And guys, it's as simple as asking, your physical therapist to administer these functional outcome tests. Every physical therapist knows how to administer these tests, every single one of them, all of them. Okay. So it doesn't matter if they've worked with amputees or not, they know about these tests. And they're the ones who are trained to administer them. So there's my Cosi soapbox for the night talk right there. All right, guys. That is all the questions that we had for this evening. I have got a big day tomorrow. I get to go work with one of my favorite prosthetist clinics here in Tampa Bay, in St. Petersburg, the St. Pete Brace and Limb and Brace Clinic. So two of my favorite prosthetists there. We're going to be shooting some really fun videos. I got to get to work with a couple of their patients there. Really, really excited. So, all right, guys, keep your eyes peeled for that video. With that being said, next week, what's next week? Next week is the 29th. It'll be another open session, general Q&A session. So guys, here's the thing. Oops, almost forgot. Those of you who have questions that you want to send me, there is my email right there. I answer all my own emails within 24 business days, 24 business hours, one business day. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. All right. So send me your questions there, guys. As always, thank you for letting me be a part of your lives this evening. And I'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat